Hey guys, and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I got a lot of questions on TikTok and on Instagram if I could make a tutorial on how I make my paper flowers, and especially now that I'm selling my DIY kits on my website, the link will be down below. It's only suitable I make a video on how to actually make it and what I do behind the scenes. So the first thing that I do is I load my material onto this mat, and then that will be inserted into the machine that actually cuts the flower templates for me. So this is the machine that I use. It's called the Cricut Explore Air 2, and I think it retails around £300 or around that price. And of course that is a hefty amount of money, and I understand a lot of people do not want to invest in a machine that's so expensive just for one frame. So that is why I've decided to sell the DIY kits. And I've got a lot of questions of people asking me if I sell the templates separately because they want to make it at home, so just a bundle is easier for everyone. So this machine, I don't know if you can tell, but it's going around each flower template twice. I get 9 in total with each load, and it takes 20 minutes. So it is quite time consuming, but that's because I'm using very heavy cardstock. I use heavy cardstock because I think the flower shape just remains a lot more. Any cardstock is fine, really and truly. I just have that preference. So in this clip, I'm demonstrating how I make the flowers from the flower template. Don't worry about the intricacies too much. I've got another video which I will explain in more depth, but I just want you to get an overview of what I do. So I essentially just clip my tweezers at the end, I roll inwards towards the center, and then once I start to lose control rolling in with the tweezers, I gently release it and then continue with my fingertips. I then start to fiddle about with it. I basically slowly release the pressure that I'm holding the template with my fingertips to kind of let the inner the inner part of the template expand itself and release. I think this just gives it a more fuller look. And then once I'm happy with the sizing, I just go ahead, dabble a little bit of hot glue, and then just swirl it around. And then with that additional flap that's there on the template, we cover the center, so when you flip it around you don't just see an empty hole. And you'll see how it looks now. Perfect! So that's what we're going to achieve. Sorry, I'm clapping. Okay, so let's go and talk about it step by step. So you're going to get your templates, and they might be a bit tangled, apologize for that, but what you want to do is get your template and decide which way around you want. I prefer those lined textured parts on the outer side. So I then get my tweezers again, I clip it to the end of the flower template, and then using my left hand's fingertips I hold it in place and then continue rolling inwards with my right hand. So I keep on going to a point I've lost control, and that is this point right here. Oh, look at that. So this is what I mean by lose control. If I continued going, it just wouldn't look neat. So I release it with, I release my tweezers from the template and continue going with my fingertips until I reach a point where I'm happy. At this point, I like to then, as I said before, just release it a little and let the flower template expand on its own. And when you're doing this with me, you'll probably be able to realize what I'm talking about a bit more. If you just concentrate into the center of that template, you will see it's starting to unwind a little, and that will kind of expand the flower and give it a more fuller look. This is completely optional and definitely up to preference of what people like. But once you are happy with the size and how it looks, you go ahead, dabble a bit of hot glue, swirl it around so you don't, waste too much hot glue, and then place the flap on top. So in your kit, I would have given you 2 hot glue sticks, and that is essentially enough to make the flower templates and then also glue it onto your frame. I had to wait until my dog stopped barking. Oh, okay, well, apparently that has not ended. So as mentioned before, you will have 2 hot glue sticks in your DIY kit, 25 templates, your frame color of choice, and of course your quotes of choice. And then you've got to make it all up together to make one beautiful frame, which I have no doubt you guys will be able to do and do a smashing job of. I think my dog has problems, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is completely an aesthetic thing. So what I'm doing right now is I'm using my two thumbs and I'm pressing on the petals from the center outwards to kind of flatten it, and I think it looks like the flowers have blossomed. I just love the way it looks. I think it does lighten the color a bit more as well, whereas if you have it closed, you have a more of a contrast effect. Again, it's completely up to you and what you want. When I do my heart shaped frames of flower frames, I leave them some open, some closed, just to give those varying effects. I think one great thing about getting a DIY kit as well is that the color scheme is completely up to you. You can have a complete random arrangement, which I think would look beautiful. I actually haven't attempted that yet, so if one of you guys could do that and send me a photo, it'd be wonderful. So this is a little bit behind the scenes again. You don't have to worry about this. I weed out all the little O's, E's and all the little gaps basically for you. You'll receive your quote like this with one checkered side and one plain side. So what you want to do is let the checkered side face downwards and pull back on the plain side very gently, very carefully, trying hard not to touch the quote. And then just be careful with it and make sure you're not tugging too much and that your quote is actually stuck on the checkered piece of paper, because that's where you want it to end up. Make sure it's not, you're not tugging it and it's still stuck on the plain side. So what I like to do, and this is completely optional, is I put my glass, the border and the flower pieces all together just so I can see in terms of scaling where my quote should be stuck onto the glass. I think it's quite a helpful tip, but of course you don't have to do that. And then once I'm happy, I go ahead and stick it down, but I start from the top so I can scrape downwards, and that way it releases any trapped air bubbles underneath. Because the glass is quite slippery, at this point I lift it off. Again, if you just want to pop your quote straight onto the glass without having to use the flower frame, that's completely fine. So yeah, I pop it back onto the table, and as you can see, like I said before, I do it from the top and then I scrape downwards to try and release any air bubbles that might be trapped. So the process is very much similar as if you're putting a screen protector on a phone. At this point, I'm really happy with how it looks, where the positioning is, so I'm peeling it back very gently and very carefully. The glass is of course very slippery, so to help hold it down, I'm using that paper that we had before, and I'm pressing down on the glass using that paper so I don't get any fingerprints on the glass. That's quite a good tip, because once you've placed your quote, it's going to be very hard to clean the glass and the fingerprints, if there are any, around it. And because this is a personalized order, I'm just saving that transfer tape for another time. And there you go. And do be careful because the glass is very, very sharp. So just be really careful with it, be cautious. On my website, I do say you must wear gloves whilst doing this activity, just because it's really dangerous if you get any cuts, or when using the hot glue gun, it might burn your fingertips. It's happened to me many times before in the past. So you pop everything together, you secure the bag, and there you have it, your frame is complete. So there you have it, your finished frame, and how gorgeous does it look? It's just the perfect gift to give to someone. It just holds so much sentimental value. Thank you to everyone who has supported me on this journey. It's been amazing, and this just took off so quickly in a blink of an eye. And I'm just so grateful for every single one of you, for every customer that's purchased from me, and every person who's liked my picture on Instagram or shared my video. It really does help. I wish you the best of luck on your flower frame. Please tag me, whether you use my DIY kit or not. I would love to see your creations. And yeah, let me know if you want to see any more videos, or if you have any questions, let me know down below. Thank you guys so much, and I'll speak to you guys soon in the next video.